time of year to hear a wrestling should be talked about. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you like my opinion, great. If you don't, you're wrong. That's all there is to it. Kayfabe Wrestling Talk. Again, this is where you come to hear wrestling should be talked about. Hey, yeah. Let's go! That was a hard stop on the music. Kayfabe Wrestling Talk. This is where you come to hear wrestling should be talked about. We're going to chat about Raw and Smackdown last week. I had a sick dog. I had a busy week, so I have to keep an eye on things. So unfortunately, I didn't have time to do two separates, but I'll just do one and see if I can get her done quick. But make sure you like, you subscribe, you let me know what you think. And with Saturday night's main event coming up, we got a lot of wrestling. And we got SummerSlam coming up. We got a lot going on in regards to all that stuff. My glasses are still dirty. Old people go blind. Yeah. Like and subscribe, Kayfabe Wrestling Talk. Let's start with Smackdown, which was July 10th, Smackdown. Smackdown starts with... Alright, so Smackdown starts with Nick Aldis introducing CM Punk. It looks like CM Punk is going to be a regular here on Smackdown. We all know the Smackdown folks are trying to figure out who's going to carry that show. There's been up and down ratings, inconsistent shows a little bit. I guess Cody Rhodes ain't drawn, so bring in the real superstar CM Punk to get people watching. I'll tell you what, that's going to get me watching. Get CM Punk. One of those guys, when they talk, you listen. And it's a really smart move. I mean, CM Punk, everything he says it feels real. It feels I equate it to a Mick Foley promo. When you listen to Foley, you used to listen because it seemed real. Cody Rhodes, great talker. Another one, Rhea Ripley, I feel like if she's talking, you're listening. But anyway, it looks like CM Punk says he negotiated his full-time SmackDown membership. That's what he's been doing the last 3 months. Obviously, that's bullshit. He needed a vacation, but it's a good story. He needed some time off to hang out with the wife. He lost a dog and kept working. He needs some time. But Punk does basically call out the entire roster. Sammy, Gunther, Finn, Keys, Priest, Trick. Bring it on. The only one he didn't name drop was Cody, which I found very interesting. But hey, here comes Cody. Second best in the world. Cody says stuff. How's your eye? Because that's what Punk said to him last time they were talking. Hello. Little technical difficulties there, folks. But as I was saying, Monday Night Raw, or Smackdown, Cody comes out, says some stuff. We got Punk versus Cody at SummerSlam. Now, this is a money match. This is a match I want to see. And hey, they've been great matches lately, but like these two guys haven't fought. I don't think they fought since both of them come in. And I think everybody's waiting for that. They're old friends. It's going to be an incredible match. I wonder if we're going to see a heel turn on one of these guys. I put my money on Punk turning heel, but who knows? I don't think Cody can turn heel right now. I think he's such a good, shiny, good guy. You kind of got to keep him where he's at. That's just the way it goes. But anyway, we got Punk, we got Cody, we got SummerSlam for the belt, and I'm calling right now Punk's going to retain. I don't know if he's going to win, but he's going to retain that belt. We got Finn versus Tama Tonga, two old friends trying to, they're just, everything gets raised from their past. Finn gets the win. Great match. Finn is just on a path of finding his way away from the Judgment Day, right? So he's doing this super good guy stuff, fighting the Solo side of the bloodline. I thought it was an amazing match. I think they need to get Finn in some good long-term storylines here to bring him back, because right now he's just a guy that shows up and does a match. And hey, I love a great match, but we need to see Finn doing more. We need to figure out a character for him. Whatever he's going to do, the good guy stuff's already getting old, and it's been like a week. So figure it out. I love his matches, but the character's not there for me. So I mean, they gotta do something about that, right? And then Gunther comes and he threatens Mr. Aldis. He says, "I should be part of this main event. You have the end of Smackdown to figure it out." We'll see what happens, but Fatu and Big Jim call out Solo. Instead, Royce Keys comes out because I guess him and Fatu have been buddies for years in real life, right? So he just lets them know like they're loyal. He's loyal to him. He doesn't want Fatu to leave his family because he considers Fatu part of his family, right? So we got Royce Keys versus Big Jim, and Big Jim wins an incredibly sloppy ass match. To be honest, not a great match. I don't know who they're gonna pair Keys with, but Jimmy ain't it. I don't know if Jimmy's just not wrestling enough because normally I like Jimmy Uso, Big Jim, Jimmy Uso. Anyway, at one point Solo tries to interfere. Fatu comes down and destroys Royce to show his loyalty. Fatu was cheered. Solo was getting cheered. This is a very interesting development with the crowd cheering Solo. That's new. Fatu, it's going to be hard to get the crowd to boo that guy, even if he's working for Roman, but he's being forced to. He's basically in slavery right now. When after Fatu takes out Keys, he tells Solo, "You come talk to the OTC at Raw." And that's after Fatu beat the crap out of Solo, wrapped the chair around his head and said, "I could have destroyed you, or I could have killed you. This is a warning. Come to Raw, or you're going to see more of Fatu." Great little promo with Fatu beating up Royce, but the match was shit. So, I don't know what they're going to do with Royce Keys. He seems to be floundering a little bit. I don't know if he's found his place on the roster yet. I mean, he's a big guy. He's a good wrestler. He's good on the mic. But, he's another guy where he just hasn't found his footing and character. And I know AEW is just match-driven or whatever, but we need some good characters. Not to say they don't have some good characters, but it's just less of a focus I find sometimes with some of them. Not all of them. MJF, great character. We got some good characters there, so maybe I shouldn't have said that. Nah, I said it. We got Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill. And Bliss, this is a hell of a fight. Bliss learns how to fight Jade. Just total defense and speed. Bliss does end up Jade takes out Bliss's arm with a chair. And Jade wins with a pump kick earlier, but then takes her arm out with a chair, and she was doing that weird thing that makes her arm look broken. It wasn't broken. But looks like Bliss might be taking some time off and giving Charlotte a chance at some solo stuff, maybe. I don't know. Trick Williams gets a legacy title. All for, I like it. Maybe a little early, but I think they're putting a lot of... He's a future guy, I think, with an aging top guy situation with Roman, Punk, Cody... a lot of aging folks there. They're really trying to find somebody to pick up the mantle. I think Trick Williams is going to be that guy if he can stay healthy, because you usually don't give legacy belts just to anybody, and usually it's not this fast. But I mean, it fits him. He's got the fur. It's not that really. They just made a fur belt. I thought it was cool. Now he's got to keep that belt for a while, I would assume, so they can sell some of those. So they'll have that belt for a little while. At least till SummerSlam. They're going to sell them at SummerSlam at least, right? But we ended up getting Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. And what a hell of a match. A classic match, I'd say. Trick Williams going for a classic 80 moves, the double-armed neck breaker. Just any trick slaps. He does a trick slap, which was blocked. But I love that trick slap. But great match. Great match. But who interrupts this classic? Baron Corbin makes a comeback with huge cheers. I mean, he left in a whimper, and he went to some jiu-jitsu stuff, ended up being an elite fighter, and he's come back to some fanfare. I'm happy to see it. I always liked him. Maybe they'll use him correctly. I'm pretty sure there's going to be something with him going for the U.S. title, obviously. He came down and beat the hell out of both of them. I always get upset when a classic match gets interfered, but this was a pretty good little swerve bringing Corbin back. Last time we kind of saw him regularly, he was, Kurt Angle's last match, everybody hated that. I don't know. They just didn't know how to use him. But now he's an elite fighter. I think this is a good opportunity. Gunther coming out, hoping to be added to the SummerSlam match. Aldis says he's going to be putting Gunther in a match at Saturday night's main event. He has to team up with Sami Zayn against Punk and Rhodes. Gunther did not like that news. And he beat the crap out of Nick Aldis. Beat the crap out of the boss. This kind of harkens to Stone Cold stunnering Vince McMahon back in the day. He beat and we haven't seen a beating to a GM in a long time. I think Nick's trying to make a comeback. I know he just came back from a suspension. But, man, Gunther really beat the crap out of him. And I think we're obviously going to see Nick Aldis and Gunther eventually. I don't think that tag team match is happening at Saturday night's main event, but we'll see. I think that was more of a slap in the face by Nick Aldis, and I think he was doing it on purpose. So maybe he deserved a beating, because when you poke a bear usually pokes back a lot harder. So, Nick Aldis, you got what's coming to you? I guess that's all I can really say about that. And that's the end of SmackDown. SmackDown's now 2 hours, which is a little more ingestible. A little less is more sometimes, folks. And I think that's the situation. This was a good, tight show. We had some good other than this little sloppy match, but the storyline behind it with Fatu returning and taking out Solo, taking out Solo and getting him to come to Raw. I mean, it was a pretty good little situation there. All right, so we got Monday Night Raw, which was just this week, as everybody knows, July 13th, Monday the 13th. And it starts with Brock Lesnar. Apparently Brock Lesnar's obsessed with Oba. He can't stop talking about Oba. That's what Paul Heyman says. That's obviously bullshit. Brock Lesnar doesn't think about anything except for chopping logs when he's at the farm. But they're selling a story. Good to go. Here comes Oba. And Brock comes down with like 4 cops. Cops, right? Oba beats the crap out of all the cops. Sorry, I guess I should bring up Paul Heyman says he has a restraining order against Oba. Oba comes down, beats the crap out of the cops. Now, this is a black man beating up cops. I don't think that would have actually went well in Texas, but anyway, obviously there were cops. And maybe these cops will come on board and be the cops as a faction or something like that. That would be interesting. Anyway, that was a weird little segment. All Oba says is, I can't wait for Hell in a Cell. No more games. We're going to fight it out at SummerSlam. I am excited for that match. They got to pull back on them doing these promos and just kind of wait a week, I think, personally. Getting a little silly. But, I mean, Oba did send a cop over the top rope about 20 feet, so that was pretty impressive. Io versus Perez, great match. Beatdown of Io starts, and then, Io wins, but gets beat down. But, Sol Ruca comes to the rescue. Rodriguez destroys Sol Ruca with a power bomb into a pole. And then they take out Io Sky. She gets the shit slapped out of her by Alexa Bliss. Sorry, Liv Morgan. This is a great build. Because, Io Sky is loved. Sol Ruca's rather loved as well. And nice to see Rodriguez showing some power, showing some dominance. Rodriguez needs to be winning matches. And a lot of folks, somebody said to me that she needs to leave the Judgment Day. I don't want her as a good guy. She needs to stay a heel. So whatever she does, if she wants to leave, I just hope she's like, hey, I'm going to do my own thing and everything's cool. Because we don't need her as a good guy. She's a perfect power heel. She's what? She's got the talent. She's got the power. She knows how to wrestle like a big man. And I love it. I love Rodriguez. That wasn't the whole point of this thing. Obviously, this is just a big setup for the Io Sky Liv Morgan feud, which I'm excited for. Should be good. Now, one of the stupidest segments, Otis and Tozawa come out, ask Maxine Dupree, what are you doing? Because she's joined the Judgment Day and is dating Tyson Fury. Or Austin Tyson. What's his name? God, he's so boring. Tyson. I don't know. Anyway, you know, the boring guy in the Judgment Day. We'll just call him that, who's dating Maxine. You know, Otis was just about to profess his feelings for Maxine. Like, so dumb. Otis should be a powerhouse. And the way I personally would have booked it is Otis turns on Tozawa, joins Judgment Day. Joins the Vision, sorry. So we need, Otis really should be a bad guy. Tozawa should have got beaten down. And then Tozawa could be doing some matches with Otis as a comeback and eventually win after losing 20 matches. It would have been awesome. You know, Otis gets the upper hand for a minute, but then Maxine totally nutshots him. Her and the boring one hug it out and kiss, and it's gross. Oh, I forgot. So, oh yeah. So Solo ends up So he says Solo comes down. He says he's coming home. You know, and points to the sky, and then he says, "Nah," and then spikes Jimmy. Fatu and him are fighting. You know, I love that Solo doesn't back down for Fatu. Everybody seems afraid of him. Solo just goes right after him. Solo's supposed to be a big, powerful guy. Fatu's a big, powerful guy. I love how they're doing this. At one point, Solo smashes Fatu with a chair. LA Knight does. LA Knight comes down to the rescue Solo, which is crazy. It hits Fatu. Fatu totally no sells. And then Royce Key comes down, kind of saves the day. Fatu still no sells everything. But we're going to see a 6-man tag. LA Knight, Solo, Royce Keys, all on the same page, fighting the, you know, Jimmy, Fatu, and I don't even know who else. Somebody else, I assume. But it's a 6-man tag team at SummerSlam. Feels like it should be a Saturday Night's Main Event match to me. Not really that big of a deal. I don't know why they're doing this, but it's nice to see LA Knight at a pay-per-view. At one point, you know, Maxine and the boring one and everybody else taking out Otis. Paul Heyman just quit on. He says, "I'm proud of you. You did such a good job, Maxine, that you don't need me," and then walks away. So I assume he's out. Excuse me. We got some fires here in Canada. It's very smoky. Maxine and all of them just look totally stunned. I think Maxine's the leader of the group now, I guess. I don't know. It's stupid. They want to have Maxine with the boring guy, cool. You got to split off Braun Breaker. He's floundering in this Vision crap. Have Logan Paul and Braun Breaker be together. Have Austin Theory do his own thing or whatever his name is. Yeah, it's just dumb. The whole Vision thing is not working. It's never worked. Too many injuries. It kind of worked when Seth was in there, but then he got injured, then Breaker got injured, then Paul got injured, then Breaker got injured again, and now we got the boring one wrestling with Breaker, and Breaker does not seem like he's having a good time. You can tell he doesn't really want to be there. So I think Braun Breaker's got some potential. I just don't think he's going to be champion as quickly as everybody thinks he is, because it ain't working. With Baron Corbin back, maybe they'll join forces like they did in NXT. They had some good stuff. I know he's on a different show, but we'll see. Lyra comes out looking like a crackhead, looking like a fentanyl addict, looking like a tweaker. I don't know what's going on with whatever outfit or whatever they're doing with her. I like that they turned her heel. I like that they had her beat up Bayley. Bayley versus Valkyria is going to be some good stuff. But I don't know. It was one of the stupidest outfits and characters I've ever. It was just stupid. I don't know what they're doing. I know Bayley had like this whole mental health storyline earlier where she had split personalities. Now they're trying to do it with Lyra, I guess, making her like crazy or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens when she's wrestling. I mean, she's a great wrestler. I also kind of thought the feather gimmick was stupid, but this is way dumber. So, I don't know. Anyway, we get a gauntlet match for number one contender for the, I believe, Intercontinental Champion. Starts with Dom and Hendry. Hendry gets squashed. I mean, JD helps, big head, right? But Hendry is, I guess, a jobber now. I mean, why even? I mean, I guess that's the risks of signing with WWE. I mean, he gets He's like the biggest guy with all his songs and stuff. They're doing none of that with him. I mean, it's kind of sad. He really just should be doing the songs and the talking and this gimmick where he shows up everywhere, say his name and he appears. And they got to start doing that. I don't know if maybe they're waiting and just kind of letting him get some ring rust. I don't know. But I feel bad for the guy because he's got character. So after Henry, Javon comes out. JD, of course, heavily interferes. And then Danhausen curses Dom. And then Javon wins. So the biggest pop so far is Danhausen coming down. So Javon ends up moving on. He's got to fight Dragon Lee next. And this is probably the best of the whole thing. Dragon Lee versus Javon. Javon ends up winning that one. Rusev comes out. He taps out Javon. It takes a lot to tap out Javon. But then the last guy in the gauntlet, Chad Gable, with the worst entrance music I've ever heard. It's terrible. Just use a generic song or something. The song is the worst. You as a good guy is the worst. It's corny. It's dumb. I don't know if you're going for like a Kurt Angle as a good guy thing, even though he was a bad guy when he was a good guy. I don't know. I'm glad, though, that Chad wins the gauntlet match. I was surprised, but it's going to be Chad Gable versus Penta. It's going to be a great match. Chad Gable puts on the best matches, but whatever their packaging is, just, they need to do something about it. Yeah. We got Roman and Seth contract signing. Seth says he's going to win. Roman says Seth is only number one at being an OTC hater. He's nothing even close to him. He'll never be anything close. And at SummerSlam, Roman's going to prove they're not equal. Roman says Seth, even if Seth wins, he's going to get injured in a month. Pretty good burn, because that's what's been happening with Seth. Roman says he can't even handle being number one, even with Daddy Triple H running the show. And he does mention how bad his promo was a week ago, boring everybody to death. All correct. But Seth does say, because he's not always boring, he's usually pretty good on the mic, but whatever he did last week was bad. This week was pretty good. Says, I have to come to terms with who I am, and I love who I am. I'm a visionary, a revolutionary, I'm Seth freaking Rollins, blah, blah, blah. Roman definitely won the verbal here, but Seth won the beatdown brawl at the end. I don't know who's going to win this match. My thoughts is Roman. I think they need to keep it on Roman for a little while longer. I don't know what they're going to do with Seth. Maybe have him downtrodden and trying to fight his way back. Maybe have him lose for a couple months. Let's see how he can come back from that kind of adversary. Like that's how I'd book it, but I'm not a booker. I'm just a keyboard booker. I don't know the business, but I mean, even Seth is a good guy. He's just stabbed so many. He's the classic stab everybody in the back his whole life. So I don't know if I can ever even take anything he says seriously, because I don't know why they did what they did after he got injured in the Vision. They should have maybe just waited for him to come back and join the Vision again, and that would have really regenerated the Vision, because again, the Vision's floundering. Seth Rollins, I know he's got a championship match, they're pushing him, but I think his character is getting a little old with his John Wick style. Again, a great wrestler. I love Seth, but I just think that it's the wrong direction. And again, I'm just a keyboard booker. What can I say? Anyway, Kayfabe Wrestling Talk. Sorry I'm a little rusty today. I've been dealing with a sick dog. We got all this smoke going on outside because of these damn wildfires. I don't know what I can say about that except for Kayfabe Wrestling Talk. This is where you come to hear what wrestling should be talked about. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Yeah.